All right, so in the world of crypto, we've got two stablecoin giants on a collision course. One is actively chasing regulatory approval, and the other, well, seems to be dodging it. Today, we're going to break down this high-stakes battle between Ripple and Tether and really get into what it means for the future of digital money. It's almost a classic setup. On one side, you have the new kid on the block, Ripple's RUSD, and it's just racking up praise. But on the other side, you've got the undisputed heavyweight champ, Tether's USD, and it's getting some pretty serious warnings from major financial players. So what gives? Why are these two on such completely different paths? Okay, so to really get what's going on here, our first stop has to be how the experts are rating these things. And let me tell you, the difference is, well, it's pretty staggering. Now check this out. This rating is from BlueChip, a crypto-native platform. So these aren't some outsiders looking in. These folks live and breathe this space. They've given Ripple's RLUSD a solid A, praising its stability and its governance. But then you look at Tether, the biggest stablecoin by a mile, and it gets a D. That's not just a bad grade, it's a massive red flag coming from inside the industry itself. And as dramatic as that was, it was really just the warm-up act. Because a true heavyweight, a giant from the traditional finance world, was about to step into the ring and deliver its own verdict. And here it is. S&P Global, yeah, that S&P, gave Tether a rating. And on their scale, a 5 out of 5 is, well, it's the absolute worst score you can get. It literally means weak. This wasn't just a low grade. This was a full-blown takedown. So why such a terrible score? Well, S&P was super specific. They pointed to a growing pile of high-risk assets backing Tether's reserves. But the real kicker was persistent gaps in disclosure. In plain English, they couldn't get straight answers on who was holding Tether's money or how reliable its partners were. And this whole transparency thing, yeah, that's going to be a recurring theme. And that theme of transparency brings us right to the heart of this entire conflict. It's all about a promise that's been hanging over the crypto market for nearly a decade. 8 years. That's seriously how long Tether has been promising the market a full, independent audit of its reserves. The actual money that's supposed to be backing every single one of its tokens. This quote just perfectly captures the frustration in the market. I mean, despite being told again and again that an audit is coming, it's never actually happened. Instead, all the market gets are these quarterly attestations, which are just a quick snapshot of their books on a given day. That's not a deep, independent investigation, not even close. So let's just lay it all out, side by side. Look at Ripple's column. You've got monthly reports, a one-to-one backing with high-quality liquid assets, and a charter from the New York Department of Financial Services. And those guys are notoriously tough. Now, look at Tether. An 8-year-old promise of an audit. Its backing includes undisclosed high-risk assets, and it doesn't have an equivalent U.S. regulatory charter. The difference couldn't be more night and day. And all of this leads up to this one crazy moment, a single 24-hour window where these two completely different approaches just collided in the most dramatic way possible. You honestly can't make this stuff up. On November 26th, S&P delivers its scathing weak rating for Tether. Then, the very next day, November 27th, Ripple announces that its stablecoin has been officially approved for use in Abu Dhabi's massive international financial center. So one company gets a warning, and the other gets a green light. It's just wild. So what does Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, have to say about this? He basically sees this as a sign of a coming storm. He predicts that Tether is directly in the crosshairs of U.S. regulators, and he frames it as this inevitable, totally predictable risk. But Tether's CEO, Paolo Ardoino, he has a completely different take. He just dismisses the S&P rating. He doesn't see it as a legitimate critique. He sees it as an attack from a propaganda machine. He claims that traditional finance is simply scared of Tether's success and its independence from what he calls the broken financial system. So what does all this mean for the future? We're basically seeing two fundamentally different strategies for winning the stablecoin market play out in real time. On one path, you have Ripple's compliance play. They're trying to build trust by actively seeking regulatory approval and being totally transparent. Then you have Tether's incumbent play, just using its gigantic size and market power to hold its top spot, all while pushing back against critics and those calls for audits. But, and this is a huge but, we have to talk about the sheer scale here. Despite all the criticism, the size difference is just staggering. Ripple's stablecoin is doing great at over $1 billion. But Tether is an absolute behemoth, with a market cap of over 184 times billion. That kind of scale gives it immense influence, and it means that its stability or instability is a huge risk for the entire crypto economy. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. In this high-stakes battle for the future of digital money, what's going to matter more in the long run? Proactive compliance and transparency, or the unstoppable momentum of market dominance? The answer to that question is going to shape the entire crypto ecosystem for years to come.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.